following is a presentation of TBS Sports. Exclusively on Superstation TBS.
I hear that Skip Carey has been giving me a hard time about the Mike Fratello situation in Atlanta. I know Fratello's a great guy, but Skip, I know one thing. I look at everything optimistically in life. When you're getting on me, you're leaving someone else alone. And Fratello told me that you are, without a doubt, one of the most generous men that live in the city of Atlanta. That every year you attempt to give $10,000 to the family of the unknown soldier. And you still got the checks to prove it. And I'll say another thing about Skip. He went to the doctors, the family doctor, and he said, "Hey, doc," he said, "I need something to improve my sex life." And the doctor said, "Have you ever tried jogging?" And he said, "No." He said, "Well, you jog 3 miles every day. Do that for 10 days and then let me know how things are." 10 days later, Skip called him. He said, "Doc, this is Skip." He said, "Did you jog 3 miles every day?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Did it help?" He said, "How do I know? I'm 30 miles away from home." The Braves Dodgers to follow on the Superstation. Don't forget, tune in. You'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Superstation TBS presents the Atlanta Braves, America's team. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By the official airline of the Atlanta Braves, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Eckerd Drugs, America's family drugstore.
Tom Lasorda's a beauty, isn't he? Hello again, everybody. Along with Billy Sample, Skip Carey welcoming you to another night of Atlanta Braves baseball from Dodgers Stadium, where the Braves are going to try to avoid getting thumped for the third straight time. They've lost 2 to the Dodgers. They're 2-5 on the current road trip, and they send a hard luck pitcher to the mound tonight. Rick Mahler, who's pitched much better than his record has indicated. His pitching opponent is a bona fide candidate for the Cy Young Award, Billy.
Well, there should be some other people who will get some votes. Doc Gooden and David Cohn at New York should get some votes. Rick Russell at San Francisco should. But Danny Jackson and Orel Hershisher are the front runners, and they're in the top 10 in both earned run average and strikeouts. Jackson has 14 complete games. Hershisher has 12. Jackson has 6 shutouts. Hershisher has 5. They're 1-2 in innings pitched, and it may come down to the last month as who will walk away with the Cy Young Award.
Jackson was the loser tonight in a game against Houston. He's now 21-7. Hershisher shoots for his 21st victory tonight. We'll have the starting lineups and then the play-by-play story on tonight's Dodgers game against the Braves right after this important word from our sponsor.
Reliever John Franco should get some votes also. Welcome back to Dodger Stadium. For the 49-94 Atlanta Braves, Ronnie Gant leads off at third base tonight. Jeff Blauser at second. Gerald Perry at first, bats third. Dale Murphy cleans up in right field. Andres Thomas, the shortstop. Deion James in left field. Ozzie Virgil behind the plate. Terry Blocker in center, and Rick Mahler on the mound. The Dodgers currently 6 games ahead of the Astros, who won tonight at Cincinnati. Alfredo Griffin, the shortstop. Steve Sachs bats second at second. Kirk Gibson in left field bats third. Mike Marshall cleans up in right. John Shelby in center field bats fifth. Franklin Stubbs at first base. Jeff Hamilton at third. Mike Scioscia with the game-winning RBI last night behind the plate, and Orel Hershisher on the mound. Our arbiters behind the plate on your left: Randy Marsh. Dutch Rennert will be at first. He's closest to you. Dana DeMuth at second, and Harry Wendelstadt, center, far away with a umpiring school in Amman Beach, Florida, will be at third base. And as Hershisher finishes his warm-up tosses to bring you to play-by-play, as well as the scores from the American and National League, Skip Carey.
Okay, Billy, thank you very much. Houston 7-1 over the Reds. Nolan Ryan's now 12-11. Glenn Davis is 28th homer. Our old buddy Rafael Ramirez, a 2-run shot, his 5th of the year. Danny Jackson, the loser, he's 21-7. Cal Daniels, a home run and a losing cause. Pittsburgh beat Montreal 4-1. Brian Fisher got the win. Tim Burke the loser. Bonilla, a 3-run homer, is 21st. The Mets beat the Cubs 3-1 the final there. Sid Fernandez got the win. Roger McDowell saved it. Calvin Schiraldi the loser. Philadelphia 9-2 over St. Louis. Phil Bradley hit his 11th homer. Bob Sebra got the victory. Greg Matthews the loser. San Francisco and San Diego about to get underway. We're underway, and a strike from Hershisher, who's 4-0 this year and 13-6 lifetime against the Braves. American League, Boston 4-3 over Baltimore. They've played 8 innings. The Yankees 7-4 over Cleveland after 7. Detroit lost again to Toronto 3-2. Pitch is a little high. It's 1-1. Milwaukee 4-0 over the White Sox after 5. Kansas City 1-0 over the Angels after 1. Minnesota, Seattle scoreless after 1. Texas and Oakland about to get started. 2 balls and a strike to Ron Gant.
Hershisher with a lot of movement on his fastball.
He's had a tasty year. 20-8 at 2.62 earned run average. It's a Valley expression. Tasty.
Oh, I thought that was in reference to being oral.
No. That was a brutal remark for sure. Totally. But most of the year you've been sort of awesome. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's been sort of a grody road trip for the Braves. They're 2-5. And they don't get off to a good start tonight. Gant is out of there. Jeff Blauser the batter.
You see Scioscia slide to the outside part of the plate. And that's perfect pitching, right where he wanted it.
Blauser hitting 188, a homer, 2 RBIs. Well, I hope you enjoyed our tease with Tommy tonight. I've admired his work ever since I was a little boy. Glad he could join us on the Superstation. 1 ball, no strikes. The count is even at a ball and a strike. There's Thomas. Turned out to be sort of a gnarly shot we had of the Dodger dugout. The 1-1 pitch fouled away. That got the home plate umpire. It's 1-2. But everything will be righteous when we get back to Atlanta on Friday night. Take on the Padres at 7:40. One more day in the Valley and I'd have become a flower child. Or something. A ball and 2 strikes. Same old, 2 out.
Third, number 28, first baseman.
Breaking ball. And by the time Jeff recognizes it, it's too late.
Gerald Perry now at 3:07. Well, gag me with a spoon. 1, 2, 3 and out. No hits, no runs, no errors, none left. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. There's a look at the Atlanta defense. Rick Mahler has allowed just 23 earned runs in his last 10 games. 76 innings in those 10 games. 69 hits, 12 walks, 42 strikeouts. A 2.73 earned run average. Pretty good, huh? But in those games, he's 1-5 with 4 no decisions. The Braves have scored just 7 runs in Mahler's last 4 starts.
And how do you think he feels when he sees his top 3, the first 2 strike out, and the next one hit a weak ground ball back to the pitcher against a guy that's 4-0 against them this season?
One pitch, should be one out. Blauser throws him out. Before this series, Russ Nixon said he wasn't going to play Blauser at second and Gant at third until the pennant race was over, so I guess he thinks it's over.
Number 3, second baseman.
Yeah, the Braves have been eliminated.
No, he meant for the Dodgers and Reds and Astros. Steve Sachs at 274. He's in a dreadful slump. 10 out of his last 74. Sample, you're off to a rad start tonight. You're down. The pitch. Bunts it back. It's 1-1.
Are you going to stay in the valley the next time we're out here?
You betcha, Red Rider.
What advantages are there to being in the valley?
Too numerous to mention. No panhandlers. That's the. Well, that's at least one of them. People seem healthier somehow. And don't ask me any more questions like that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Jack McKeon watch is over. He signed a new 3-year contract to manage the Padres. Sachs hits it foul, out of play. Through the 1991 season for Jack, he'll relinquish the Padres general manager position after the winter meetings. Padres also announced that coaches Sandy Alomar, Pat Dobson, Amos Otis, Denny Summers, and Greg Riddock have also been signed for next year. On the run, Dion, he's there. 2 out. So Mahler gets the first 2. Kirk Gibson will be the batter. Meanwhile, the Texas Rangers said today that Ed Gaylord will exercise his option to buy Eddie Child's 58% interest in the club, and the move means a Florida group will be unable to buy control of the team. A group headed by Tampa car dealer Frank Morsani had agreed in principle to buy the team. But now that deal goes down the tube.
That's interesting because Commissioner Peter Ueberroth hadn't liked the idea of superstations owning baseball clubs, as the Braves are in the same situation. But he also doesn't want franchises to move, and I think there was a threat that the franchise would have been moved had.
Oh, without question. They'd have been in that new facility down in the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area. Meanwhile, Commissioner Ueberroth has said that Fred Lynn is eligible for postseason play. Now the Tigers have to get there.
All because of you, my esteemed partner.
I don't think so, but the Commissioner's right. That's a silly rule that they have to change.
I didn't realize that you were one of the movers and shakers in this industry.
Well, I'm a mover and shaker, but not in this industry. Oh, 0-2 is the count to Gibson. He's at an even 300. The 0-2 missed outside, a ball and 2 strikes. The National League Championship Series will open on Tuesday night, October 4th at the Western Division Winners' Home Field. And that's probably right where we have a seat this evening. The 1-2 pitch. Got him with that off-speed curveball. Gibson goes down on strike, and both pitchers look sharp in the first. After 1, no score.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Biggest crowd of the 3-game series is on hand. Be that as it may, Billy is supposed to read the disclaimer, and I forgot.
This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club.
I'm so sorry.
And is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures Strike one. Descriptions or the accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
Beautifully done. 0-1 the count to Moyth. Wasn't yesterday supposed to be the day of the rapture? Where the head office came down and took all the good guys? Head office must have graded sort of tough because everybody I know is still around.
And even more people here tonight than there were last night.
If Murph's still around, you got to figure it hadn't happened. One and two. Nobody on or out. We're in the second. Friday night, Peter Smith goes against one of the Braves' leading nemesis, Eric Shaw of the Padres.
Shaw 15-3 lifetime against the Braves.
That's well hit, base hit. The last time these two faced, Hershisher struck Murph out 4 straight times.
Batting fifth, number 14, shortstop
Andres Thomas is the batter. We'll have Padre action for you Friday and Saturday nights. 7:35 will be television time on each occasion, and then on Sunday we'll take to the airwaves at 2:05 Eastern Time. That will conclude the series with the San Diego team. They'll be followed into Atlanta by the San Francisco Giants, and we'll televise at 5:35 on both Monday and Tuesday nights. Then we go on the road to Houston for 2. And then we'll be looking at the last week of the season. And we'll tell you about the last week of the season after this next pitch. Double play ball. Beautiful play. 1-2. Good play by Hershisher. Terrific play by Griffin. The throw was behind him a little bit. Major League Baseball there.
Look at these quick hands. Sinking fastball. Look like a shortstop. Now throwing the short, as Skip said, a little behind Griffin, but you never would have known it.
number 10, left fielder,
Deion James bats with 2 out and no one on any of those pillows out there. Sacks to his right, and the inning is quickly over. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and no one is left. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. Atlanta nothing, Los Angeles nothing. We move to the bottom half of the second inning. It's camp night here in Dodger Stadium.
number 5, right fielder, Mike Marshall.
And that's why so many people are wearing Dodger caps. Here's a guy who needs to wear one, Mike Marshall, who has virtually cut all his hair out. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes, scoreless in the second. The Dodgers 83-60, the Braves 49-94. Good curveball. It's 1-1. First game of the World Series will be October 15th at 8 o'clock in the National League City. Unfortunately, we're not going to be involved in that little exercise this year.
Marshall goes to the opposite field. Well, Mahler trying to come inside with a fastball, especially when Rick's ahead of the count.
That left-handed figure, a bit surprising. I guess Guerrero being hurt much of the year may have had something to do with it. He's gone now. The 1-2. Curve hit the short. Thomas on 2 outs. Well, all of the Braves broadcasters, as it works out, were not wacko last night when we were talking about John Tudor being hurt. He did injure his elbow slightly. It's plagued him for much of the year.
And they want him healthy for the League Championship Series if the Dodgers hold on, keeping Houston and Cincinnati away, because they feel that a left-hander against the Mets will be a little more successful.
For sure, for sure.
And of course, the Mets have a couple of left-handers to throw against the Dodgers if that 22 and 24 stat is indicative of the way they play against left-handers. Ojeda and Fernandez.
The 1-0. Little tap foul evens it up. I doubt that they would have Fernandez. I read somewhere where their plans are to take Fernandez out of the rotation and use him as a reliever.
He was very effective in that '86 World Series against the Red Sox as a reliever.
A ball and 2 strikes. Fan Appreciation Night is September 24th. Not only that, but on SEC football this week, it'll be 9th-ranked LSU at Tennessee. Bob Neal, Tim Foley will have it for you. 12:30 Eastern Time. Tom Smith will direct. Skip Ellison will produce. Ken Nolan will scream. All those things will happen at 12:30 Saturday. The 3-2 pitch. You won't be able to hear Ken scream, but Tom and Skip sure will. Payoff pitch due Shelby. And we'll have it to do all over again. Tennessee still looking for their first victory. They lost a great struggle to Georgia, then were upset by Duke University. So they'll have fire in their eye. The 3-2. Got him. He swung late at a fastball. Shelby is out of there. Strikeout number 2 for Mahler. 2 out in the bottom of the 2nd. Franklin Stubbs will hit.
Looked like a high fastball with some movement to it. You see it run away from Shelby, and he can't catch up to it.
Stubbs at .222, 6 homers, 29 runs batted in. Gerald Perry, by the way, here's a quick pitch by Mahler. No windup delivery. It's 0-1. Perry entered the night a point behind in the batting race. Palmeiro and Gwynn lead him by 1. There's the first Dodger base runner, a solid Stubbs 2-out single, and Jeff Hamilton the batter. Hamilton at .254. He has 5 homers and 28 runs driven home.
Number 33, third baseman, Jeff Hamilton.
Gonna have to find out when we get home. Braves had a kid down at Richmond this year, Dave Griffin, who led the International League in homers. I don't think he hit for a tremendously high average, but he was among the leaders in RBI and was not recalled by the Atlanta team. Have to check that out.
Certainly think that he deserved at least a cup of coffee in the big leagues, even if he's not a future prospect.
Runner goes. He got a big jump. Little tap. Can Blauser get back? Yes. And the inning comes to a close. If he hit it a little harder, he steers it through there. He had picked the right spot. But the little tap didn't carry. 1 hit, no runs. No errors, 1 left at the end of 2. No score. Oh. We go to the 3rd inning here. There's no score in the ball game. Ozzie Virgil will lead it off for Atlanta. Virgil, Blanker, and Mahler will be the first 3 here. Rick Rayford, our director tonight. Glenn Diamond is, at least for now, our producer. And Fern Hoppenstan and Hal Galima doing graphics, while the irrepressible Richard Croker is our associate director. We go to the third. Here's Billy Semple.
Okay, thanks, Skip. Virgil, Blacker, and Mahler, bottom three to face Hershisher, who has given up one hit, that to Dale Murphy leading off the second inning, and Dale was erased on a double play. Virgil had a 2-run pinch hit single in game 1 of this series, a game in which the Braves lost 5-4, spotting the Dodgers 5 runs through the first 2 innings and closing with a 4-run 6th. Ozzie on the season, 246, 9 homers, 28 runs batted in. The 0-1 soft line drive right center will fall for a base hit. The Braves have their second hit of the game.
Boy, if he'd have taken a shot over to that side every now and then all year, he might have had a much different season than he's had.
Number 19.
I'm not sure if Ozzie tried to go that way or that Hershisher's ball runs so much that it probably ran into the handle part of the bat after he went after it, which I think is more the case.
Well, all I know is his average in the last 2 weeks has been steadily rising, and base hits have been steadily dropping into right field. That indicates something to me.
Terry Blacker hit to the right side. He found the hole. Virgil will stop at second as Marshall comes up with it. So the Braves have some action leading off to third.
Batting ninth, number 26.
Hershisher has been moved up a day. He's pitching with 3 days rest. And that may affect him before the night is over.
That brings up Rick Mahler in a sacrifice situation. Rick at 141. He has 10 hits and 64 at bats. Griffin tried to put a play on it short. They're going to third. Rick bunted through the ball. Griffin, the shortstop, tried to bluff Virgil back at second, and then he ran to cover third. Now, not sure who the quarterback is in the Dodger infield for this particular situation, but Hamilton was charging on that play. And you see Stubbs on the right-hand part. He's charging already as Rick shows bunt and takes high and inside. Count evens at 1.
Virgil, by the way, is hitting, Hal Galima tells us, .333 since August 1st.
But Ozzie with catcher's speed at second base. So the Dodgers have a good chance to get the lead runner. We'll see if there's going to be a switch. Mahler shows bunt early, takes a fastball inside.
Hate to bring this up, but Ozzie doesn't run well at all, and Rick Mahler is very slow. And you put that combination together, and the way this year has gone, the outside possibility of a triple play does exist.
And it might go 5, 6, 4. Well, we'd have to see who'd cover second. If Stubbs is charging, Sachs would have to cover first as Mahler takes a strike. So we'll see what Russ Nixon wants to do on this 2-2 count. Bobby Wine again going through the signs. Roy Matika coaches at first. Mahler, pretty good hitting pitcher, has been for years. Hershisher with a lot of movement on his ball. Rick shows bunt already and fails to get it down. So Hershisher has his third strikeout.
And Mahler is ready to chew nails. He really takes pride on his ability to handle the bat. Tries to do everything he can to help himself, and when he fails in a spot like that, boy, he is steamed.
It's a tough situation. I can recall trying to bunt over people that have average speed, and you almost have to lay a perfect bunt down, especially when the defense is charging the way the Dodgers were. But as you say, Rick takes a lot of pride in that aspect of his game. Ronnie Gann, a strikeout victim his first time. Nice play by Socha.
How about a double steal here? You know, they'd never be expecting it.
Yeah, but if you miss it, you might be able to throw the back runner out first and then throw the lead runner out.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to change our position in the standings, even if it doesn't work.
Virgil at second, Blocker at first. 1 out. But we alluded to it that one of the reasons Mahler might have had trouble getting that bunt down is because Hershisher has so much movement on his ball.
Now, if Ozzie started now and they didn't notice him.
Ozzie's pretty good.
Go on, Oz. Go on.
About 6'1", 220. They might pick him up out of the corner of their eyes. Gant grounds this one foul wide of third. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count.
If he ran on his tiptoes, maybe he could get away with it.
There are your runners, Virgil and Blocker. In the AL, the Royals have a 1-0 lead over the Angels. They're in the 5th. The Mariners 1-0 over the Twins. They're in the 4th. Rangers and Athletics scoreless after 3. The 1-2. Taken low. 2-2 the count.
Go ahead, Ozzie. Go ahead. He's not an adventurer, but that's the name of the movie that will follow the telecast tonight, The Adventurers.
What a nice segue. The 2-2. Tapped foul. Braves looking for victory number 5-0. Currently 2-5 on this road trip, splitting 2 games at Candlestick, winning the first of 3 at Jack Murphy Stadium against the Padres, and losing the first 2 games in this series. Last night, John Tudor, Ramon Martinez, and Jay Howell combined on a 2-hit shutout. And you see why Rick Mahler's job was tough just from picking up the paper and seeing who his mound opponent was. Two-two. Same spot. He threw a 2-strike pitch to Gant in the first inning.
Second baseman, Jeff Blauser.
Fastball caught the corner. Perfect pitch. And Ronnie knows you got to swing at those, even if you think it's an inch or 2 off the plate, too close to take.
I used to get a kick out of that too close to take one, because sometimes you can't hit that pitch anyway.
Well, you know you can't hit it if you don't swing it.
But sometimes they might not call it a strike. But when you're going as good as Hershisher's going, you better believe that's a strike. Jeff Blauser also a strikeout victim in the first. Jeff takes high and inside. And for the most part, the Braves have hit well with men in scoring position throughout the season, but not of late. The 1-0. Count evens at 1. With the Astros beating the Reds tonight, the Dodgers lead has been shortened to 6 games.
In September, the Braves are hitting .138 with runners in scoring position. So we're not exactly peaking when runners are ducks are on the pond.
Not quite the salary drive that you see sometimes this time of year, even when clubs aren't going as well. Did he go? Yes, he did. Plate umpire Randy Marsh making the call. 1-2 the count. The Dodgers, with that 6-game lead over the Astros, have 18 games left. Only 2 with Houston, 3 with Cincinnati. Have 6 left with San Diego, and the Padres play the Dodgers well. And they also have 6 games left with the Giants. The 1-2. Nope. Can't get them all. That a couple inches further outside than the one that struck Gann out.
Boy, that pitch backs up. It doesn't get there, but it almost snuck back in over the outside corner.
You tend to give up on it because you can't hit it, and at the very last second, as Skip said, it runs across the plate ever so slightly. Virgil at second, Blocker at first, 2 outs. The 2-2. Again, he sets up outside. Pitch runs inside, but it's hit high enough for Gibson to take a few steps in. Kirk puts it away. Crowd number 3. So the Braves get the first 2 base runners on, both with singles, and fail to advance them. After 2.5, we're scoreless. No score. Dodgers batting in the third. They'll send Scioscia, Hershisher, and Griffin 8, 9, and 1 in Tommy Lasorda's order to face Rick Mahler.
The Dodgers, and batting 8, number 14, catcher Mike Scioscia.
Scioscia, the hero of last night's game, a 2-run homer in the 5th. He had missed a few games. He has bursitis on his left heel, a painful condition that he's trying to play through, as Mahler trying to get him off the plate with that fastball. And came right back with a changeup. Pretty good pitch selection. Count evens at 1. Mahler looking for his 10th victory. Tap to the right side. Perry will take it unassisted for out number 1. And as Skip told you earlier, he has really pitched well. As you see the graphic there in his last 10 starts. Usually you get a few more victories out of a 2.72 earned run average.
Our movie after the game, The Adventurers, concerns revolution in Latin America. And those 2 great Latin American stars, Ernest Borgnine and Candice Bergen, are involved in it. You gotta be kidding me.
I think Ernest Borgnine's wife is Mexican. Is that close
Maybe
enough?
That's how he got the part.
Tap to third. Gann up. Throws. 2 away. So Mahler trying to match Hershisher pitch for pitch, as Alfredo Griffin will take some time getting to the batter's box to give Hershisher a rest. And while he does, let me read a couple of these notes.
Alfredo Griffin.
Happy birthday to Virginia Denmark from Clyde, North Carolina. Clay Phillips from Milledgeville, Georgia, looking in. That hat just won't fit yet, will it?
Yours looks rather racy.
Is that a Valley expression?
Yeah, yes. For sure, for sure.
Griffin grounded to second his first time.
What about Tim Feather and Mark Smith from Richmond, Virginia? You didn't mention them.
I didn't mention Ish and Alta from Downey, California either. Tap to the left side. Time is up. And Mahler goes through a 1-2-3 Dodger third. And after 3, we're still scoreless.
Along with Pete Van Weer and Ernie Johnson, we're going to the 4th inning. Professor, Another case in the last inning where the Braves just can't seem to get a hit when they need it.
Well, that's been the case of this whole road trip. Game after game on this trip, the Braves have had a chance, runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs in many cases, and still unable to come up with that big hit at the right time. But when you face pitchers like Orel Hershisher, that's how they make their living, getting hitters out in spots like that.
You saw Gildersleeve there catching a few Z's. Some of you older folks remember Gildersleeve. Hershisher with 2 straight shutouts, trying for his third. See if the Braves can do anything about it. They got Perry, Murphy, and Thomas as the first 3 batters. Perry, despite his slump, is still only 2 points behind Palmeiro and Tony Gwynn. They started the day at 308. Hershisher's chasing down a gnat or something. Hershisher will be 30 years old on Friday. Out to short and on to first, and 1 pitch and 1 out. And Gerald Perry is 0 for 9 in this series and 0 for his last 23. Now Murphy, who singled the first time up, his 3rd hit in the series. Murphy's had a little luck against Hershisher in his career. Thomas is on deck. Hershisher looks like Opie, but they call him Bulldog. On the outside corner. He is their bread and butter guy. He stopped a lot of losing streaks with a win, shooting for his 21st win of the year. And the 0-1 pitch. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
They've got him listed as the number 2 pitcher if they go into the playoffs against the New York Mets, but that's basically because they like to get a left-hander, John Tudor, an extra start against the Mets. They feel left-handers a little more successful with the Mets than righties.
The bouncing ball foul past third. I guess Hershisher's greatest statement was last year. Bears repeating. I think it was last year, year before. He's a very Christian-like person, very religious, clean liver, good family man. And I guess he must have done something like brush a couple of hitters back and let them know he's out there, and was a little macho. And the reporter questioned him about it. He said, you're a Christian and clean liver, and kind of questioned how he could do that. And he said, just because you're Christian doesn't mean that you're a wimp. I thought that was one of the great statements made by that guy right there. And he gets Murphy on a curveball. That is his 5th strikeout.
Oh, that's a nasty pitch here. Ball starts out over the heart of the plate. Look where it winds up. Outside corner down around the ankles by the time it got to Socha's glove.
Andres Thomas hit into a double play, and it was a nice play by Hershisher who started it in the 2nd. That wiped out a hit by Murphy. Then the Braves had singles from Virgil and Blocker in the 3rd. Nobody out, 2 on. He retired the next 3, 2 of them by strikeouts. The Dodgers over the year, history-wise, very similar to the Mets. They've always had some pretty good pitchers. No balls, 2 strikes. Tom Lasorda. Boy, the winners laugh and tell jokes, don't they? Look at it. That's over first. Reminds me of seeing Ben Wade, who pitched for the Dodgers back in the 50s. He's the director of scouting. And I said, well, Ben, how you doing? He said, Ernie, I said, I'm 67 years old. I'm in great health, and we're in first place. Things couldn't be better. And he was just chuckling away, and that's the way it is. No balls, 2 strikes. Lasorda just gave one of his banquet jokes. He's got $1 million. Up the middle, base hit. That's the 4th hit. given up by Hershisher. This one comes with 2 outs.
That was almost the identical place that Thomas hit the ball the first time. But the first time, Hershisher got his glove on it and was able to start a 1-6-3 double play.
Well, you were right on Jack McKeon. I thought he might want to be the general manager, but the news is
a 3-year contract as manager for Jack McKeon through the 1991 season as a reward for his excellent work with the Padres this year.
Oh, he earned it. James grounded out first time. Outside, 1-0. A runner at first and 2 away. The final game of the year between these two clubs. Driven a left, but Gibson's going to catch it right now. Hit it hard, but right at the Dodger left fielder. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Member of the media, a local photographer. I flunked photography. Here's Steve Sachs. And here's the pitch. And there's a fly ball. Short right. Murphy went back. Now coming in. He's got it. We're out number 1. Now Kirk Gibson.
Boy, Steve Sachs really getting frustrated. He threw his bat that time almost all the way down to the first base coaching box. He has been in a fairly lengthy slump over his last 19 games, hitting about 130 over that stretch.
I think it's 10 for 75. And he's a contact hitter. You usually expect slumps like that from free swingers.
I think the 2 most mystifying slumps in these 2 teams right now, that of Steve Sachs and that of Gerald Perry. You wouldn't expect Perry to go into as lengthy a slump as he's been in this trip.
Because he's a contact hitter. And here's Gibson. Struck out first time up. He ran up to bunt. Missed it. 0-1. He was testing old Gant down there at third. They don't miss a trick, these guys. Put someone who hasn't played very long in a position, they'll give him a test. Put a catcher in who hasn't thrown many guys out, or it's his first game in the major leagues, they'll give you a test. Nobody's feelings are considered. There's Joe Malfitano. And the 0-1. Boy, they're already lining up at Fenway Park, I'm sure. A 4-game series at Fenway Park, Boston starts tomorrow between the Yankees and the Red Sox. They both won today. A 4-game set. That's got all New England jumping up and down. Not everybody in New England roots for the Red Sox. A lot of Yankee fans in New England. And the pitch. Out towards short. He got fisted, and Thomas is going to throw him out easily. Mahler is pitching a better ball game, really, than Hershisher. He's allowed only 1 hit. And the big guy from Texas, Rick Mahler, well, you talk about suing for non-support, and that's a cliche, but he has not gotten any runs. He has just had an awful time of it lately.
1-5 over his last 10 games with an ERA at 2.72.
Yeah. His first game in the major leagues, they'll give you a test. Nobody's feelings are considered. There's Joe Malfitano. And the 0-1. Boy, they're already lining up at Fenway Park, I'm sure. A 4-game series at Fenway Park, Boston starts tomorrow between the Yankees and the Red Sox. They both won today. A 4-game set. That's got all New England jumping up and down. Not everybody in New England roots for the Red Sox. A lot of Yankee fans in New England. And the pitch. Out towards short. He got fisted, and Thomas is going to throw him out easily. Mahler is pitching a better ball game, really, than Hershisher. He's allowed only 1 hit. And the big guy from Texas, Rick Mahler, well, you talk about suing for non-support, and that's a cliche, but he has not gotten any runs. He has just had an awful time of it lately.
1-5 over his last 10 games with an ERA at 2.72.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to get in the act. Mike Marshall got a Pete Van Wieren haircut. Outside. 1-0. Eddie Casco has it. Rube Walker. Going to have a club.
We had ours first.
I know you did.
We have seniority in that club.
Yes, sir. You've had it a couple of years now. 1 ball, 1 strike. And there's an example right there. His ERA was better in the first half, and he was 8-8. His ERA was worse in the first half, excuse me, and he was 8-8. Well hit, caught by Gant. Nice play at third. Now, Marshall throws his batting helmet down. Dodger fans respond to that. I wonder if Mrs. Marshall comes to the game. She's probably home because she helped him cut it. We go to the 5th.
On the National League scoreboard, Houston beat Cincinnati. Nolan Ryan over Danny Jackson. The Pirates won in 12, but the Mets also beat the Cubs, so the Mets' magic number down to 9. Elsewhere, it was the Phillies over St. Louis, and San Francisco leading San Diego in the 5th inning. We'll check the American League later.
Virgil had a single to lead off the 3rd, and he leads off here in the 5th. He'll be followed by Blocker, who also hit safely. Curve in there, 0-1. Hershisher with a sinking fastball, curve and slider, and good control. He's around that corner. You can see where Scioscia gets on the outside, and there's a grounder to short. There's a throw to first, and that's 1 out. Now Terry Blocker.
Center fielder, Terry Blocker.
It was going to be a very critical series for the Reds, and it still is to a certain extent. Over the weekend, Los Angeles goes to Cincinnati. But right now, the Reds are 8.5 back after their loss today, 9 in the loss column. They'd have to sweep the series, and they'd still be a long ways from home. Houston beat the Reds tonight. They're 7 back of the Dodgers in the loss column. On 1. See that fastball sink. 1 ball, 1 strike. Most pitching coaches are happy if you have a movement on your fastball. They hate a straight fastball. They like it to sink if possible. There's a check swing grounder and an underhand toss to Franklin Stubbs, and quickly 2 outs in the 5th. There's Ron Peronoski, who used to throw a lot of sinkers. Left-hander. Excellent pitching coach. Both leagues. He pitched in both. 2 outs. Mahler failed to move him with a bunt and struck out, fouling the pitch, and he flies to right. This is duck soup. Hershisher didn't even work up a sweat. 1, 2, 3, you're out. We go to the bottom of the 5th.
In the American League, the Red Sox winners, so are the Yankees. Yankees stay 4.5 back. Detroit falls to 5.5 back. If Milwaukee holds on and defeats Chicago, they'll also still be 5.5 out. The other games are still in progress.
John Shelby takes a curveball just inside, I guess. 1-0. Pop foul on a play. Shelby had the longest hitting streak in the National League. Early in the year, he hit safely in 24 straight. You know who hasn't had a good August or September in the other league, Pete? Was Doyle Alexander. Used to win consistently for the
he had a
in the
tremendous
fall.
late season record coming into this year, but it hasn't been the case this year.
No, sir. I don't believe he's won a ball game in September. Sparky Anderson held him in there tight, but the Tigers now in tough shape. Gant. Beautiful play. Ron Gant on a nice play. Took a base hit away from Shelby. Let's give him a chance. Gant will get better at third.
He was playing in to guard against a possible bunt, and the ball took a high hop, and he was able to get up there and get it.
Stubbs a batter. Tigers had a lot of injuries this year. The Giants probably had the most of any pitching staff. Now Mike Krukow with a rotator cuff problem. David Palmer might have one, and he looks like he might be out for the Phillies for the rest of the year, former Brave. Stubbs had a base hit the left first time up. Fouls it away. This is the 27th year the Dodgers have been at Dodger Stadium. This beautiful place has watched over 67 million paid come through the turnstiles. That's over $2.5 million per year. And the curve is a strike. Dodgers came here from Brooklyn. First year out was 58. They played in the old, and it's still the home of the Raiders for football, the Coliseum. 0-2 pitch. Line away. 1-2. They tried to make a baseball stadium out of a football stadium. It was about 240 or 50 to the left field fence with a screen about 150 feet high. The 1-2. Just off the corner inside. Mahler's had a lot of luck this year with fastballs tight, and he just missed there.
They did set some attendance records out at that Coliseum that'll probably never be broken in that World Series against the White Sox in '59.
Yes, they had over 90,000 on a weekday.
Fans, yeah.
For the World Series. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Milwaukee wins. They beat Chicago 4-2. That's the final. So the Brewers hanging in. Down low. Milwaukee is 5.5 back. Three balls and 2 strikes. 7 games left between the Red Sox and the Yankees. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He got him on a fastball going away. Mahler has pitched a beautiful game here tonight. He strikes out Stubbs with a running fastball.
He was giving him a lot of breaking balls low and inside. And then he came back with a 3-2 pitch. Fastball away from the plate.
Now Jeff Hamilton, who's picked up this ball club. Looks like he's ready to play on a regular basis. He started the year as a part-time player. Hamilton grounded out in the second. Mahler's 3rd strikeout. Those 4 grand slams yesterday by Rice, Barfield, Barry Hill, and Hubie Brooks in the major leagues. That tied a major league record. It had happened 11 times, 4 grand slams in one day. They must have sneaked in last year's baseball. 0-2. A little bit high. 1-2. And Pete and I hope that Misty Nixon, daughter of Russ Nixon, is doing fine. She gave birth to Abigail yesterday. It was the 3rd grandchild of the Russ Nixon.
7 pounds, 11 ounces. Mark and Misty Steinhauer at the proud parents.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And there's the proud grandpop.
There's Gramps. Yeah, the 1-2 pitch. Little sidearm curve. He hasn't done that tonight. Dropped down a little bit. Good to see Ron Schuler here. Used to pitch for the Braves. He's an assistant to the general manager of the Oakland A's. There's a stat we've been talking about. Number of runs scored for Mahler. He fisted him, and that ball is going to be a base hit. Got to have a little luck, too. And Hamilton had some there. An infield hit. Swinging bunt. Only the second hit off Rick Mahler. Comes in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, you won't find many hits that go less far than this one.
Boy, that looked like it hit his foot. Can we play that back again? That looked like it hit him in the foot. And if it did, it was a dead ball.
Looked like it bounced right off the plate.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Here's Scioscia. Won it yesterday with a homer. This time he bounces to Blauser. The tag at second base by Jeff Blauser for out number 3. We played 5. An old-fashioned pitching duel. You can see the totals. We go to the 6th. We're going to the 6th. Ron Gant will lead it off. He'll be followed by Jeff Blauser and then Gerald Perry. Hershisher with a couple of more warm-up tosses. Top of the 6th, and here's Pete.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. It'll be the top of the order. In this scoreless battle, final meeting of the year between these two teams, the series on the season totally dominated by the Dodgers. They've won 13 out of 17. And Ron Gant will lead it off here. He struck out twice in the game thus far, both times on called third strikes, once in the first, once in the third.
Pete, you mentioned left-handers pitching, and if the Dodgers win the West, the Mets have got the East locked up. John Tudor would be the scheduled first starter, and last night he said his elbow bothered him, so they're a little concerned about him. He is scheduled to pitch on Sunday. We'll see if that happens, but he pitched 5 innings. His elbow was bothering him, so Tommy Lasorda took him out.
You'll recall he had some elbow problems earlier this year when he was with the Cardinals. Gant takes a ball low and away. Top half of the 6th, still scoreless. That's a foul ball. The count even on Gant, 1-1. Dodgers have played a lot of low-scoring games this year, and they've won a good number of them with their excellent pitching. Hershisher getting a new baseball. His last 2 starts, shutouts. And he's got the Braves shut out through 5 tonight.
And I think 21 scoreless innings coming in. Consecutive scoreless innings.
2-1 now on Ron Gant. And for one of the few times tonight, Hershisher has fallen behind a hitter. 3 balls, 1 strike. In fact, this is the first time he's had 3 balls on a hitter in the entire game. Here's the 3-1 to Gant, and he lost him. So there's the first walk issued by Hershisher. The Braves have a leadoff man on here in the 6th inning, and Jeff Blauser at the plate.
Second baseman, Jeff Blauser.
Blauser struck out in the first. He flied to left in the third. He might be bunting here. He gets the bunt down, but it's foul. Hershisher has been a tough man to hit. He's been a tough man to bunt in this game. Rick Mahler tried to get a bunt down in the 3rd inning, wound up striking out when he bunted the 3rd strike foul.
I believe it's 26 scoreless innings Hershisher has now, and as we mentioned, his last 2 outings and shutouts. Makes it so incredible when you think that Don Drysdale, who now broadcasts for the Dodgers, at one time in 1968 had 6 consecutive shutouts and 58 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. You wouldn't think that anyone could even come close to that. Not too many people have, but just to do that, 6 consecutive shutouts and 58 2/3 innings, and that is Drysdale with a striped shirt, along with Vin Scully.
1 ball, 1 strike on Blauser. He does get the bunt down. It'll be fielded by Franklin Stubbs. Steve Sachs taking the throw at first, and down to second goes Gant. So Blauser does his job advancing that runner, and now we reach the situation where the Braves again need a big hit from somebody with a runner in scoring position. Gerald Perry 0 for 2 tonight and 0 for his last 23. He has bounced to the pitcher and grounded out to short in tonight's game.
Safe to say that he is due.
He's only had one hit on this road trip. And as we were mentioning earlier, he is such a good contact hitter, you wouldn't think that Perry could fall into a slump that lengthy. He runs well. You'd think he'd be able just to leg one out somewhere in there, but it hasn't happened. Ball one, high and tight.
When you're hitting, the ball looks like a basketball, and when you're in a slump, it looks like a top flight, Spalding, if you will. Try everything to get out of the slump. A lot of people say, try to hit it right back through the box. Be comfortable.
Looped into left center field, but that's where Shelby had him played. And the problems continue for Gerald Perry. 2 outs in the inning. Gant remains at second. Now it'll take a 2-out hit from Dale Murphy, who singled in the second inning, struck out in the fourth. In this game, the Braves have 4 hits, and they've had the leadoff man on base in the second inning, in the third inning, and again here in the 6th inning. But Hershisher's been able to pitch around those base runners all night. Scioscia and Hershiser talking over Murphy.
Well, you wonder, on a Murph good year, they walk him here. I mean, they're not going to let a superstar beat him. With Murphy having his problems, they might pitch to him. He is 1 for 2, however, against Hershiser. Thomas to follow is 1 for 2. Of course, I'm chicken. I'd walk him. We'll see what they do.
It looks like they will pitch to him, but they're going to pitch very carefully. You can bet on that.
Yes. Don't give him anything good to hit and don't walk him. Funny instructions come out there. A lot of times it's right up to the pitcher who he wants to pitch to.
Murphy awaits the first pitch, and he chased a terrible pitch. It was low and outside. He went after it. Nothing, and won the count. No runs, 4 hits for the Braves. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. We're in the top half of the 6th inning. Final meeting of the year between the Braves and L.A. Got the fastball by him, and just like that, Hershiser ahead in the count, 0-2. The bat goes one way and the ball goes the other. The bat wound up at second base, where Steve Sachs retrieves it, and the ball wound up in the Dodger dugout. The count remains 0-2 on Murphy.
Murph just got a piece of this. Look how far Scioscia gets outside. He's almost out of the stadium, and Murphy just got a piece of it. By going way outside, he's trying to tell his pitcher, hey, don't even throw it over the plate. I want it in the dirt outside.
Well, they got Murph to chase 2 bad pitches here. That first strike he swung at was low and outside. That one was off the plate. And we'll take a look and see where Scioscia sets up this time. He's going out there again. And Murphy wouldn't offer at that one. It's 2-2. Make it 1-2. 2 men out. Gant down at second. No score in the top of the 6th. Again, Scioscia sets up outside. The pitch just missed.
You see him fake. He put his mitt inside and trying to catch Murphy's eye to make him think the pitch is coming inside. some catchers have just flicked their mid inside. Others have put it inside and pounded it. And then the batter may think, hey, we're coming tight.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Hershisher wants to get him on this pitch. He doesn't want to run the count full. There's your runner at second, Ron Gant. Again, Scioscia moves out. Murphy fouls this one back. Count holding 2-2.
He went to a fastball, but he had it outside where Scioscia wanted it. He can afford to be a nibbler here because he does have that base open.
Hershisher trying to beat the Braves for the 5th time this year. He's 4-0 this year, 13-6 lifetime against Atlanta. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, no score. Top of the 6th with Gant down at second. Again, Scioscia moves outside. Murphy chased it. And Hershisher, with his 6th strikeout, strands another Atlanta base runner. So once again, the Braves fail to come up with that big run-scoring hit. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still scoreless. Still a scoreless game as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The pitcher Orel Hershisher will lead things off against Rick Mahler, who has allowed the Dodgers just 2 hits. Hershisher grounded out to third, his only time up. Trying to bunt his way on. Let's see how Ron Gant handles it. He threw a little bit low, but handled it all right. Gerald Perry able to come up with it, and there's 1 down.
Well, this shows you that if they're testing Ron Gant, he passes this test on these various plays. Throw a little low, but it's caught by Gerald Perry. They give him all these tests. He's going to make a better player out of him. He tried everything down there.
Alfredo Griffin will step in there now. He'll wait for Hershisher to get back to the dugout. He's 0 for 2, trying to extend a 12-game hitting streak. He's grounded out twice tonight, once to second, once to short.
He's got a hitting streak going. 12, I believe.
1 ball, no strikes on Griffin.
This guy just slaps it around. Doesn't try to hit it out of the park.
Right to the second baseman, Jeff Blauser, and very quickly 2 are down here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Now Steve Sachs, who's really been fighting it. He's 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of flyouts, 1 to left, 1 to right. Sachs did not play in the first game of this series. Tommy Lasorda giving him a night off just to try to get him away from the batting slump for 1 day. 10 for his last 75 now. And he really showed a little of his frustration his last time up when he flied out to right field and just fired the bat down the first base line. It rolled almost to the first base coaching box. Two men out, bases empty, and a scoreless bottom half of the 6th inning. Strike on the outside corner. Fly ball to center field. Terry Blocker there for the catch, and it's another easy inning for Rick Mahler. The Dodgers go in order, and we move to the 7th, still scoreless.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
The Feat of the Week is brought to you by Fast Actin Tinactin. Puts out athlete's foot for good. The Braves are a long way from 5th place, but on Friday night they fought back against the Padres as if they were in a pennant race. 8th inning down 4-1, bases loaded when Dale Murphy rips a single that scores 2. Andres Thomas singles in the tying run, and the Braves take it to extra innings. In the 11th, Ozzie Virgil singles to give the Braves a 1-run lead, and it's up to Bruce Sutter to hold it. He does, zipping through the bottom of the 11th for his 14th save of the season, the 300th of his career.
We go to the top half of the 7th inning. Andres Thomas, Dion James, and Ozzie Virgil do up against Orel Hershisher. No score in the game. In fact, in this series, the Braves have scored in only 1 inning. They scored 4 runs in the 6th inning in the first game of this series, and that's been it. Dodger pitchers have kept the Braves off the board for the last 18 innings. Pete Van Weren with Skip Carey now as we go to the 7th. Andres Thomas 1 for 2. Hit into a double play in the 2nd, singled in the 4th.
Boy, both these pitchers have been awesome today.
Hershisher seeking his 3rd straight shutout, and Thomas drills one left center field. That's going to fall in the gap between Gibson and Shelby. And Andres Thomas down to second base with a stand-up double. So a good start again for Atlanta. This is not the first time the Braves have had a leadoff hitter on base. It's the 4th time tonight that's happened.
Outfielder, Dion James.
But Hershisher's been able to pitch out of trouble each time. The 20th double of the year for Andres Thomas, and the batter will be Dion James. James 0 for 2. He grounded out to second in the 2nd. He flied to left in the 4th.
Andres' first extra base hit since August 22nd.
A ball low and outside. This is the first extra base hit for the Braves in this series. They had 10 singles in Monday night's game, held to 2 hits last night, both singles. To the right side, Stubbs knocks it down. Let's see if he can still throw him out. Hershisher didn't get him. Safe at first is Dion James. That play got all out of sync when the ball got away briefly from Stubbs. He tried to recover quickly, and with a backhand toss to Hershisher, still get the runner at first and couldn't do it. It'll be an error on Stubbs.
I think he was going to take a shot at third base here. It looked like he was looking up to take a shot at Thomas, and right there he panics. If he just throws the ball correctly, he's still got a chance to get the runner at first. But give James credit. He's normally a left field hitter. He went out of his way to pull the ball, and good things are the result.
So the runners are now at first and third. I'm not so sure that Hershisher didn't have his foot on the bag here before Dion James got in. But Dutch Runner looking at the tag play. The Braves may have gotten a break there. First and third, nobody out. Here's Virgil. He's singled and grounded to short. Ball 1, the count on Ozzie. That breaking ball in for a strike. The count even on Virgil now at 1-1. Dodger bullpen now active. Right-hander Tim Cruz, left-hander Ricky Horton have begun to throw. As the Braves with an excellent chance to break this scoreless deadlock here. First and third, nobody out in the top of the 7th. To the first baseman Stubbs. He looks the runner back, and the runners are now at second and third. One man out.
Center fielder, Terry.
He's having a tough inning. He had the runner stopped at third base. He really had a chance to go to second and at least get the runner there and maybe still get the double play with the runner frozen at third base, but he chose to play it very conservative.
So now the runners are at second and third with one man out. Terry Blocker, the hitter. He is singled and bounced to the pitcher. He'll chat with Bobby Wine. Andres Thomas is the runner at third. He runs fairly well. Ron Peranowski is now going to come out.
See how they play it here. Blanker hitting below 200. He's at 190, but he's a left-hand hitter, and he has a base hit tonight. They've got a very slow running pitcher due up next.
So with a squeeze, a possibility here that may change the way that Orel Hershisher approaches his pitch selection here to Terry Blocker. You see the difficulty the Braves have had in this road trip, coming up with a big hit with runners in scoring position. I don't know if Hershisher's going to throw sinkers here or try to keep the ball up and make it more difficult to bunt. We'll see. The infield is in at first and third, back at second and short. Ball won the count on Terry Blocker. There are the runners. James down at second. Andres Thomas at third. And there you see how the Dodger infield is set. They'll concede a run if a ground ball is hit to second or short. Although Griffin creeping in now a little bit at shortstop. He could conceivably come home with the ball if it's hit sharply enough. And the count 2-0 now on Blocker. They've given him outside pitches. Now they're going to walk him. They're going to give Blocker the intentional walk and go after Rick Mahler. And I think the pitch selection did change for Hershisher on those first two pitches to Blocker. He gave him breaking balls low and away. Those are more difficult to bunt than pitches in on a hitter. So if a squeeze was going to be in effect, the Dodgers took it away from Atlanta.
Though it's still a possibility here, even though the bases are loaded. Mahler does not run well at all. If they get a ground ball out of him, they'll turn it over.
An intentional walk, only the second walk of the night issued by Hershisher. Mahler struck out trying to bunt the runners over in the third inning. Then he flied to right in the fifth. Chance to help himself here. His teammates have not been able to get him many runs in his last 10 starts. Maybe he can help his own cause here. Bases loaded, one out. Nothing in one, the count. Rick has driven in 5 runs this year. But as Skip mentioned, a ground ball to any of the infielders is almost a surefire double play, provided it's not mishandled. The one-strike delivery, and that caught the corner, and Hershisher ahead in the count 0-2. At third is Andres Thomas. The runner down at second, Dion James. The runner at first, Terry Blocker. One man out, scoreless game, top of the 7th. Now Scioscia and Hershisher will talk it over. The Dodgers treating every game right now like it was the 7th game of a World Series. They've got their magic number down to 13. And they've got a lot of tough games left against National League West opponents. In every single game until they clinch that division, if in fact they will clinch it, being played right like a World Series 7th game. An 0-2 pitch on the way to Mahler. He got it. 7 strikeouts in the ball game for Orel Hershisher.
Third baseman, Ron Dent.
He went breaking ball with him all the way. This pitch is off the plate by about 6 inches.
So now once again the Braves find themselves in a position where it takes a 2-out hit. Ron Gant, the batter, has struck out twice and walked. Remember, in this inning, the Braves had runners first and third and nobody out. Now the bases are loaded with 2 men out. Hershisher will work from the windup. A check swing, no swing, says Dutch Renner. Ball 1 the count and Ron Gant. The last 17 times the Braves have had a hitter up there in this position, 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That hitter is made out number 3. The 1-0 again. Hit high and deep to left field. Gibson going back on the warning track. He had just enough room. Gant flirting with a grand slam, and Hershisher has done it again. The Braves come up empty, stranding 3 more runners, and we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, still scoreless. Dodger fans on their feet for the 7th inning stretch. Kirk Gibson, who made the catch on the ball hit by Ron Gant, leads off here in the bottom of the 7th. He'll be followed by Mike Marshall and John Shelby. Still a scoreless game. Gibson has struck out and grounded out to short. Rick Mahler starts him off with a fastball, misses outside, ball 1. That just missed, the count 2-0.
Boy, Pete, you have an inning like the one the Braves just went through, and you get that sinking feeling about the future as far as the game is concerned.
You just can't let that many scoring opportunities get away. Line into left field, base hit for Gibson. Hit number 3 off Rick Mahler. And Mike Marshall will step in. He is grounded out to short and line to third. Mahler will have to keep an eye on Gibson, who has 30 stolen bases in 34 attempts. He is playing with a little bit of an injury. Upper right leg bothering him just a bit, but he's played through it. Marshall drills one, base hit left field. Gibson will stop at second. The Dodgers are threatening. Runners first and second, nobody out.
They wanted a fastball in. He hit the target, but Marshall was quick enough to get around and rip it to left. You got to figure Shelby to bunt here, I would guess.
Shelby 0 for 2 tonight, a strikeout and a ground out to third. Joey Amalfitano giving the instructions from the third base coaching box. And we'll see how Tommy Lasorda plays it here. You would think a bunt would be in order. He squares, gets the bunt right out in front of the plate. Virgil had a play at third, went to first.
When we see the replay, maybe we'll figure this out, Pete. In the games you missed, Ronnie Gant had a terrible time getting back to the bag at third base. You can see Virgil wants to throw there, and then he thinks Gant's not going to get back in time. And what should really have been a double play turns out to be a sacrifice. What next?
The runners are at second and third. third. They're going to walk Franklin Stubbs here. Virgil got to that ball so quickly, though. Ron Gant had to take a little time to get back to the bag. I still think he had to play at third base.
I think so too, but I think in Virgil's mind, perhaps was the problems Ronnie has had there. And again, what the Braves are doing is trying to force feed a guy into a new position here, and that's never pleasant. Let's look at it again. Try to keep an eye on Gant here. He comes in. There's the bunt. He comes in two more. Now he turns and races toward the bag. Virgil first sees his back, and the runner did get a tremendous jump off second base. I don't know if by the time Gant got there, Virgil would have had a play or not.
The intentional walk is the first walk of the game, given up by Rick Mahler. Bases loaded now with one man out for Jeff Hamilton, who has grounded out to second and singled. But now Rick Mahler has to do what Orel Hershisher just did in the top half of the inning, pitch out of a bases loaded situation. Virgil and Mahler having trouble getting together on a pitch. Hamilton steps out. Time is called. Paul Ossenmacher is the lefty. Joe Baber, the right-hander, in the Atlanta bullpen. First time the Braves bullpen's been up tonight. One man out, bases loaded. A strike to Hamilton on the outside corner, 0-1. At third, Kurt Gibson. Mike Marshall at second. Franklin Stubbs at first. One man out in a scoreless game in the bottom of the seventh. One ball, one strike on Hamilton.
Lasorda is a great believer in the squeeze play.
Mahler's 1-1. Taken low, ball 2-1. If a squeeze play is in order, it might happen on this pitch. Foul back. So now the count even at 2-2. Hamilton, a hero for the Dodgers on Sunday with his 9th inning home run against Cincinnati. Two balls and two strikes. Fouled off to the right. Stays 2-2 on Jeff Hamilton.
Watching the monitor on that pitch, Pete, you could see Virgil sort of jockeying around behind the plate so that Hamilton couldn't sneak a peek back there and figure out where he was set up.
We'll have another 2-2 pitch. The runners getting their leads. Right back to the pitcher, off Mahler's glove, but Thomas steps on second and throws to first. So the Braves get a double play out of a ball that Rick Mahler couldn't handle coming back up the middle. Andres Thomas was on the spot, though, to turn the 1-6-3 twin killing. If indeed the ball did touch Mahler as it went by, and it did. So Mahler able to pitch out of it. The Dodgers had a terrific scoring opportunity go by the wayside, and this scoreless battle continues as we go to the 8th. On the scoreboard, Houston a winner over Cincinnati. Nolan Ryan beat Danny Jackson. Houston now 6 behind the Dodgers. Pittsburgh a winner in 12 over Montreal, but the Mets defeated the Cubs. Their magic number now reduced to 9. Elsewhere, it was the Phillies over St. Louis big. San Francisco behind Don Robinson, leading San Diego in the 8th inning. Over in the American League in that Eastern Division race, the Red Sox are winners. The Yankees are winners. Detroit loses, so New York stays 4.5 out. Detroit 5.5 out. Milwaukee still 5.5 out after a 4-2 win over Chicago. Kansas City leads California in the 8th. Seattle has the Twins shut out in the 9th inning. And Texas big over Oakland in the 5th inning. Here we are still scoreless going to the 8th inning. Jeff Blauser leads it off, and here's Skip.
Okay, Pete, thank you. Blauser 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. Braves really got a break there once that ball hit Mahler. If it bounces anywhere else, a run is in. But it deflected right to Thomas, who ran right into the double play. So maybe that'll turn things around here a little bit. Mahler and Hershisher have really pitched beautifully. Tries to bunt his way on right to the mound. One away for Gerald Perry. Gerald will be glad to go home. This has been a tough trip for him. He's got one hit on the road trip. See, by Billy's theory, Gerald needs to go home and get some good vegetables, and he'll be ready to go on Friday night. 0-2. You do not look professorial with a quizzical look on your face.
No, I'm a little baffled by that.
Just missed 1-2. Well, we had a stat last night that John Shelby was hitting 100 points higher at home than he was on the road, and Billy's theory is that it's easier to get fresh vegetables at home. Two and two.
I'm afraid the quizzical look is going to remain. A farmer's market about 5 miles from here.
That's true. The 2-2 pitch. Strikeout number 8. And here's Dale Murphy. He is due to hit one against Hershisher.
Dale Murphy.
Strikes him out with a fastball away. That's usually a pitch that Gerald handles pretty well, but in this slump, every pitch is tough.
Hershisher has struck Murphy out 6 of the last 7 times he has faced him. The other time, Dale singled. A long one here couldn't hurt. We're in the 8th and we're scoreless. 1 ball, no strikes. LSU at Tennessee on Saturday. Have it for you at 12:30. LSU ranked 9th in the nation. Still just like they were when we mentioned it earlier. 1-1 the count. Our technical director tonight, Cliff Miracle's mom Mary, looking in Akron, Ohio. Good to have her with us. That wouldn't be a home run in a phone booth. Alfredo Griffin. Nothing doing in the Atlanta 8th. No hits, no runs, no errors, and no one left. We go to the bottom half. Mike Scioscia will lead it off. It's 0-0. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Mike Scioscia will lead it off. That's Glenn Diamond's brother. About to shake hands with a gentleman in the Dodger hat. Scioscia is 0 for 2. Let up outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Crowd tonight is 42,434.
Scioscia waits. There's a strike. It's 1-1. If there is such a thing as a law of averages, Rick Mahler figures to win this when you can't pitch any better than he's been pitching and come up empty time after time. That should be easy. Whoa, he's safe. Blauser threw it away. Perry wasn't really in good position to handle the throw. We'll see how they score it. That hurt.
It'll be a throwing error on Jeff Blauser. He kind of sidearmed it here over to Gerald Perry, and it just sailed on him, pulling Gerald off the bag.
We'll get a pinch runner now. Scioscia's out of the game. Jose Gonzalez will run for him at first base.
Second place for the Dodgers.
Boy.
Running at first base for the catcher Scioscia. Number 38.
Hershisher figures to be bunting here, but he handles the bat extremely well. He shows bunt. He does bunt, and it's a beauty. The only play will be to first. 2-4 sacrifice. But the go-ahead run is now at second for the top of the order. Griffin and Sachs. Griffin is hitting right at the 200 mark, but in the clutch against us, brother, he has been tough.
He's only got 24 RBIs this year, but Tommy Lasorda will tell you that most of them have come in big spots in ball games. His only home run this year won a ball game for the Dodgers recently.
See how many of those RBIs are against us. I think 8. It is 8. 1/3 of his RBIs against Atlanta. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. The slumping Steve Sachs is next. Rick Dempsey will come on to catch for the Dodgers when we head to the 9th. Downstairs, 2-0. Mahler wanted that pitch. On air on a routine grounder, a sacrifice, and the go-ahead run is at second base. They play Griffin straight away in the outfield. James cheats a little bit over toward the line. Ground ball to second. Blauser has it. 2 out. Now the lead run is 90 feet away, and a guy who's due is the batter, Steve Sachs. Mahler pitched around a mistake in the 7th inning. A play on which no error was charged. He needs to pitch around another one here in the 8th. Sachs has flied to left, flied to right, flied to center. He's been an equal opportunity employer in the outfield. Tap to first, and he should be out of the inning, and he is. So Mahler refuses to bend or break. No hits, no runs, 1 error, 1 left. We go to the 9th inning now. Still no score. We go to the 9th inning. Both teams have had their chances. Neither has been able to break through. Andres Thomas will lead it off for Atlanta. Braves had runners at first and second. Nobody out in the 3rd. Failed to score. Had their leadoff man on in the 2nd. Couldn't score. Had their leadoff man on in the 6th. Couldn't score. Had runners at first and 3rd. Nobody out. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th. Couldn't score. Dodgers had runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out in the 7th. Couldn't score. Got their leadoff man on in the 8th. Couldn't score. So there have been chances, but the pitchers have been too tough. Thomas doubled his last time, pops out this time. Hamilton with plenty of room. Rick Dempsey, by the way, as we mentioned, is the new catcher for Los Angeles. Here's Deion James. James, then Virgil for Atlanta. It's Gibson, Marshall, and Shelby for the Dodgers in their half of the inning. The Adventurers will be our movie after the game. The picture concerns revolution in Latin America and those great Latin thespians Ernest Borgnine and Candice Bergenstock. 1 ball, no strikes. Pena and Orozco, right-hander and left-hander respectively, in the Dodgers bullpen. Well hit center field. Back goes Shelby. He is really a good outfielder. 2 down. That ball was well hit.
He's one of those center fielders that plays everybody shallow because he goes back so well in a ball.
So it's up to Virgil here. He's 1 for 3. Looped a single to right his first time. Friday night, Peter Smith against Eric Shaw at the ballpark. A 7:40 game. Those of you in the Atlanta area, y'all come see us. We don't want to get lonesome out there. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2, another curveball. Stayed alive, but they fought off the breaking ball. They set right field for Ozzie. Marshall has a good arm, and Virgil doesn't run well, so he's sitting at first with 2 out for Terry Blocker.
Center fielder, Terry Blocker.
Blocker is 1 for 2 with a walk. Ground ball, good play, inning over. Great play at both ends. Wow. Griffin and Sachs combined to thwart a base hit bid by Blocker. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. Bottom of the 9th. No score. Well, there's an activity you don't see every day at the ballpark. A lady reading a book about ferrets. As we go to the bottom of the 9th, only in Los Angeles, I guess. Gibson, Marshall, and Shelby will be the first 3 for the Dodgers in a scoreless game. You see the line score to this point. Gibson is 1 for 3, singled his last time. Anytime you get to the bottom of the 9th and then into extra innings, the odds favor the home team. They get 2 bats for every 1 that you get, as it were. Mahler has been brilliant, but so has Hershisher. See if the Braves can ferret out a win here in Dodger Stadium. If the marketing manager at the Gillette Razor Company is listening, what a guy this would be to sign up for a commercial. Introduce him to that track 2, 0-1. But he has been an integral part of this Dodger pennant bid this year.
Might be the MVP in the league.
He's got a shot. The 0-1. A ball and a strike. Mike Marshall waits on deck. Braves have out hit him 6-4, but it's nothing, bottom of the ninth. Just missed the inside corner. 2 balls and a strike. You've got a nothing ball game that's lasted about 2 hours and 8 minutes, and I'll bet you 5,000 people have left here already.
Yeah.
Amazing. The 2-1 pitch. Fouled away, and the count evens up at 2-2. If we go to a 10th, Mahler is due first for Atlanta. Would be Mahler, Gant, and Blauser. There you see the folks heading for home. You pay your money and you don't break the law, you can do whatever you want, but why come if you're going to leave a game like this? The 2-2 to Gibson. Missed inside with a breaking ball. 3-2. Let's see what Rick comes up with on the 3-2 pitch. He struck him out in the first on that big slow curveball. Fastball. He fought it off. Boy, there's a picture in concentration. Rick Mahler. Braves brain trust on Tommy. Again, the 3-2. He walked it. A winning run at the ball. For Mahler, his second walk of the night.
And the first one was an intentional walk.
That's right. Well, let's see how they play it with Mike Marshall. If you get the ground ball out of him, you can turn it over. But he also has a team-leading 76 runs driven in. Gibson's playing hurt, but he can still run. Oh, and away. Virgil bluffs a throw to first. You can see what a good base runner he is. He picks his spots. 2-0. Well, he's going to give Marshall a pitch to hit here. And if Gibson is thinking about running, this might be the spot. 2 balls, no strikes here. Darrant pitch out. He stays. Fouled away. 2-1. Boy, Marshall had a good cut. Joe Amalfitano runs through the signs. This, too, a good hit-and-run pitch, if that's the way Tom Lasorda wants to play.
And Marshall very capable of going that opposite way. Gets a lot of his hits to right and right center.
The Braves shade him just a step toward left. The 2-1. Staying. on the corner at the knees. Marshall didn't think so. It's 2-2. Mahler may have gotten a break on that pitch.
Well, we'll take a second look at it. Looked like it just caught the corner.
Two balls, two strikes. He's running. Line, that's trouble if it's fair. Into the corner. Gibson races around third. The ball kicks away, and the Dodgers win the game. How does Lasorda know? He could have run him 2-0. He could have run him 2-1. He ran him 2-2, and the Dodgers win the ball game. Mike Marshall returns to the lineup with a game-winning RBI. Kirk Gibson again scores the winning run, his 104th run of the year. The Dodgers win 14 of 18 against the Braves, and Rick Mahler's unfortunate nightmare continues. Totals after this. Here's the game-winning blow, a 2-2 pitch to Marshall with Gibson at first. He's running. It's a fastball right over the heart of the plate, and Marshall hit it about a foot fair into the left field corner. With Gibson running and with his speed, the ball didn't bounce the way Dion thought it would. He thought it would bounce out to him. Look at this guy turn it on, and look at Lasorda. The Dodgers do it again, and Pete Van Wieren has the total.
1 run was enough. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error, 6 men left for the Dodgers. No runs, 6 hits, 1 error, 8 men left for Atlanta. Orel Hershisher gets his 3rd straight shutout, his 6th consecutive complete game. He runs his record to 21-8 for the year. He's 5-0 against the Braves this year. Rick Mahler's hard luck story continues this year. He's the loser. He's 9-15. The Dodgers have reduced their magic number to 12.
And now I think it's Mahler's last 6 starts. The Braves have managed just 7 runs. A little change by our programming department. The Three Stooges come along next, then the movie with Ernest Borgnine, Candace Bergen, the adventurers about revolution in Latin America. But if you're a Braves fan, you need a laugh, and perhaps the Three Stooges will provide it. Friday night, the Padres at our place at 7:40. A 2-6 Atlanta road trip. And I guess enough said about all of this. For Pete Van Wieren, Ernie Johnson, Billy Sample, and our TBS crew, from Dodgers Stadium, where we'll play no more this year, Skip Carey. So long, everybody.
Atlanta Braves baseball has been brought to you by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. By the official airline of the Atlanta Braves, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Eckerd Drugs, America's family drugstore. Atlanta Braves baseball is a production of TBS Sports.